Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack No.19. This is day 10. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and we're actually going to be talking about Molly's drawing here. And Molly is adding more tangles to her composition, and she's doing the same tangles that we've done already, but putting them in more places for balance, for interest, kind of fun.
And just because.
Just because we can.
And so here we are doing, or Molly is doing, a mix of poke leaf and Rixty and maybe a little bit of poke leaf. And we're just going to see all the different places and get a sense of how she's approaching these empty spaces.
So what this does to me, because we all did it this way, went back and forth, is that we can have things in front and in back, in front and in back. And by going back and forth, that's how we mix it up like that. Like nature would, nature's stuff isn't all in front or all in the back.
And we encourage you to take a picture of your progress as you're going. It's going to be fun to look back at the different days if you haven't already done that, particularly before we get deep into shading tomorrow. So Molly's just continuing to watch these grow and develop and fill these different areas, and there's always room for one more, right?
And don't forget, set yourself away from the piece every once in a while, because this is a big piece. Mm-hmm. It's hard to hold it out and, this way and that way. So just put it down and walk away and look at it from a distance and see in that perspective maybe something needs to be added or yeah, that's all done. This is good. This is good the way it is.
And another thing that you can consider is you don't need to do this all at one sitting. Sometimes holding it at a distance is also holding it at a distance in time. So you can...
that's a good point,
right?
Yeah.
Just step away from it, make some tea, whatever, come back to it later or the next day. And so please don't feel pressured to get this all done, at the same time with all of us as well, because we have been working on this for weeks. So it's all coming together now in these 12 days.
And the videos are there for a long time.
Yeah. They'll just stay up there for you. So again, they've grown into that fengle in there.
Mm.
It's a nice little just contrast on one of them. And they're growing through cadent. Who knew that was possible?
I know.
So this is like a good example of what Maria was saying. It can appear behind all sorts of things.
And the only way that can be done is by going back and forth.
Right.
And I love working with poke leaf and poke root and Rixty, because it grows so organically that it can go in front and go in back and makes it look just like it's always supposed to be that way.
So I love the that fill that Molly did on Marisu, and so now she's adding some Marisu. And you can see you have the option of going outside the frame or outside the border or staying within the border. So these all are options.
Yeah, this was a good fill. Takes a little while, but it looks so beautiful afterwards.
So I like this theme too of these orbs appearing in different forms throughout the project.
It reminds me of pomegranate when it's open, right? It's got the seeds in there.
So just doing that fragment in these effective reticula of Marisu, and then once those are in there, auraing it until you fill the space. And it just creates such a nice image and texture, the difference of the orbs next to the straightish lines.
I like the fill she did in Huggins too. See that? It's like almost like a snake skin. A beautiful snakeskin.
right?
Yeah.
And so she had added that one over there, and it's came
Just a
out the
little
back,
tiny beaky one here.
right? So as you get smaller, you just put less of the detail in, and the eye effectively fills that space or fills in the missing detail. And then there was one more step that she did, which adds a really nice contrast, is this adding black. So now she's working with the black 01, and then filling in the space in between those two.
Oh, that little band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see how she's expanding the band just a little bit outside.
Like it's going around.
Right? It's a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all ideas that you can use both in this tangle in Marisu or in all sorts of other tangles that you're doing that just sort of going outside the edge.
It's almost like a caterpillar.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful.
So let's see. Maybe we'll add a little bit more of something. Always going back and adding a little love. So I think Molly's going to bring some bunzo accents throughout. And it's such a dramatic tangle with this really solid mass of color that it will bring, just a little bit, brings a lot of attention to it. So take your time, particularly when you're filling in, finding all the little places that those bunzos appear.
Oh, look at that.
Right?
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. Mm.
So a wealth of ideas here. Feel free to press pause at any point, and
The Bronx spears are very exuberant. They
Right.
look like they're healthy.
And in that case, I like how they're you can see the concentric strokes there.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think is Molly's getting ready for adding some more texture tomorrow.
So this is mine, and I've been going in and adding some of this poke root and poke leaf. It's just so much fun to bring it around and let it grow up and do its thing.
And I think it's really neat to go back and compare, for instance, Molly and Maria's style on these tangles, because it's different, yet it's obviously the same tangles.
Right. But that's what makes it so cool, right?
Right.
So that we can have our own personalities in there.
Just adding that little extra detail underneath.
Well, I found that little stroke under the hat there.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. It gives it an old look, old world look.
Like a woodcut.
Mm.
And these just keep growing, right? It's so much fun.
I know.
And that little bit of a folded over leaf there.
Yeah.
So in this cadent here, it's like, well, where might that be going?
It looked like it needed to go further. And it was already on a winding path. And I thought, well, maybe it can go up and behind the Zentangle and maybe do something interesting.
And I'm guessing that, this was done probably one stroke at a time. Like, okay, well, where's it going? And then figuring it out as you went instead of planning the whole thing ahead of time.
Right.
You see how Maria drew behind there to get oriented with where those strokes would be coming.
So these are a little bit wonky, and you have to really concentrate when they start going wonky.
But the beauty is that each of those squares, you know exactly what you're going to do in them.
Right.
And so you can just repeat it.
So I had started out the whole thing by doing the grid in black and then auraing the inside with the brown 05 and then adding the cubine essence there that makes it cubine.
It gives those walls like a 3D feel to it. So whatever you do in one, you just do in every other one, even if it's a really weird shape.
Right. And it works. It sort of tells you what to do, but you have to listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And just putting in that square with the coloring in and stuff, the 3D effect is instantaneous.
Right? It really does. It's just like cubine blowing in the wind there.
Yeah. Fun stuff. No, I'm just sort of analyzing what do I do next? What do I do next?
So here we're down in one of the fingal petals.
Yeah. I can't remember what I did with this, but...
But we often say that aura is your friend.
Yep.
Right? And when you don't know, just set up an aura, because that sets up like a frame or a mat into which you can put, in this case.
Well, I had to do it's such a big piece. I had to put some muka in, and I'm hoping everybody does put in a little bit of their own mac and cheese or favorite tangle. And I couldn't stop. The pen was just going automatic pilot.
Right. So to repeat that, do feel free to add any other tangles to this project other than what we've done.
And I'm doing this little funny wraparound thing with the bulbous end. Mm-hmm. And if you see right now, right there, by just adding that little thing, it's like curling in on itself.
It's a great effect.
And I'm just adding auras for interest, and it's a very William Morris effect when you start putting patterns behind like that. It makes it a texture tangle, the whole thing.
Nice. Again, always room for one more, right?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
It's true.
Right. Well, I could fit one there.
It's almost invasive, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So just continue with that until you decide that you're done. And remember, you might choose to fill all of this up, or you might choose to leave some spaces empty. These are all your choices.
I can see the differences between the bunzo that I do and the bunzo that Molly does. Totally different.
Mm-hmm. And one of the neat things about poke root, poke leaf, and Rixty is that they do something, what we call grafting. Now here Maria went behind, then went above, and just, okay, I'll make it work. But they share these stems so they can be grafted one onto the other.
Mm.
Right?
I like that. And I don't know, what are these things called? These little extensions of Rixty.
Those are the
flower?
Rixty seed pods.
Oh,
I think it's gone
pods.
to seed.
Oh,
so
that
we
makes sense.
collect them.
End of the season.
Season? Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful.
But wait, there's more.
There's room for yet another one. That's so funny.
But you guys will do that too.
Right.
You're going to look at it and say, one more, add the balance.
So let's take a look, in this case, at Julie's. Look at her finger, and up there she added some poke root with the darker background, a poke leaf, Rixty coming out. Then she added some cubine in a couple more places.
The coloring is beautiful.
Right? Look at that. So she has a little bit more open space.
This is Martha.
Here's Martha's.
Got excited with these little beads.
They're like moon pie spheres.
Moon pie beads or spears, right? or they grow interestingly anywhere, just anywhere.
And the Marisu moving up on the right there to the mycelium.
Oh, yeah.
And then I added a mycelium to hold hands with the other mycelium and the Puyang there.
The two mycelium are sort of like sneaking behind the cubine for strength and for support, right?
And then added in some extra strokes on the cadent there.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful.
So enjoy this. Take your time. No rush. Visit it. Come back to it. Add to it. And we'll see you tomorrow for the next step.
Okay. See you later.
Bye now.
Bye.